morning, class. Welcome to Homeroom with Unc and Market Monk. Good morning, P. How's your week?
It was good. The last 3 weeks now have been about exactly the same. I've been trying to set, the backside trade MSTR keeps breaking down, but the way I hedge it kind of make more on the downside just because it's weeklies and those things get in the money, and the way options work, you have that like intrinsic value. So, you know, beyond what it's worth with the Greeks and all that, $10 in the money, every $10 is $1,000. So like, it just kind of keeps going and whatever. But so yeah, I don't know. I really could have, I guess, just flipped just completely bearish on the thing, but you're just playing with fire when you do that. So I don't do that. And that's honestly what you're going to see a lot of people trying to do who, are having a bad close to the year. They want to make that money back. So now all of a sudden they're going to flip bearish, after some pretty big downtrends. But it can get violent with the rallies, and especially in options that just destroys people. So I've seen this exact thing before, and coming into Thanksgiving week, it can just be pretty disastrous for some people. So just get be mindful of that. Enjoy some time off. Enjoy your family. Enjoy some football, but don't try to be a hero this week. No hero ball.
Yeah, I don't know if just last week, but I guess this last couple weeks just been a good example for a guy like me that pretty much only trades the upside no matter how you slice it. Like I don't hedge, I guess so to speak. Never have, probably
Yeah.
never will, and don't really go run to a put or something like that when I see anything, which I probably should, but I probably should small account challenge. But just good timing in that because kind of locking stuff down for the year. I mean, you're hearing me talk more big picture stuff, and if you zoom out at all, if you're a long term swing trader, you're pretty damn good. A few cases you have that lost year I talk about, but back to the day trading, man. To wake up Monday morning in a swing trade I've been pounding the table on at $4, $5, $6, whatever. Waking up with that going to 10 Monday morning. Get out of here. Get out of here. We had a good week on that side. Great week on that side. And then, kind of got, not, I'll call it a little greedy. But I mean, I caught myself, but I went back into ONDS. And took the win out of it and everything. But it was like, yeah, let's slow down a little bit. You make sure volume and a thesis is there right now, because you kind of learn that in the day trades. You got to have one or the other. Even in a good market, you need to have the volume or the thesis. But when it starts to slow down, you need that extra check, and sometimes it's just the big picture check of the thesis. So, but I got away with that one. I'm still on that one more as far as the day trading stuff goes. But I'll be 100% honest, P. Why I started with the account separate is day trading felt great this week. Kind of like I was a trade ninja. That big
Yeah.
account, that main account, that swing account, them old shares. Don't look over there because them swings are violent. There's just no
Oh
way you're
yeah.
gonna make that up in a week of day trading. So you got to kind of psychologically understand that, and just I mean, that's a weather the storm thing over there. You kind of leave that alone for the long haul and just slow the side down a little bit, and maybe even focus on there on where to buy the dip, so to speak, if as we get pulled back here at the end of the year, which is kind of what I normally do. Normally, how I started trading is looking for those opportunities going into the close of the year and then the start of the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know for me the investor account, Eli Lilly absorbed, even that out some because it's been on a tear lately. But yeah, so that always, you gotta remember where you came from with a
Well,
lot of those.
you gotta remember where you came from. I mean, from what I'm saying, even, and I do a good job at it, but you have to even remember where you came from in September and August, because that's what
Yes.
you just lost in the grand scheme of things in your account. And it may look big, but when you had 660 as a target, I mean, that's why I've been pounding that for so long, is because I understand we're going to get overextended, and it's going to psychologically be like I'm way ahead, and then when we pull back, I'm going to feel like I'm fucking dying if I don't have a plan. You know, if you
Yeah.
go on a hike and then there's a hill in front of you and you didn't plan for it, it's gonna suck. So I just plan for the hills a little bit, and I'm still saying it now. I mean, you haven't heard me let up on that number. Pretty adamant about it, and just let the market. I don't know, is rotate a good word? Rotate around that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's where the lost year coming in, Lily. I'm looking at everything like I got it up on my screen right now. Everything is looking at that big picture. And yeah, strong performer there, P. I could see why you're very confident in that play, and especially when you relentlessly I'm just gonna keep kind of buying this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the original three for me were Microsoft, Lily, and UNH. And UNH, like this is before Luigi and all that shit. Like so,
Yeah, yeah.
I had gotten rid of that, and that turned into more like a trade, and just that whole story brought that stock into the news and onto the radar of all the option people in a way that made it something different than when I used to buy it. So um, doesn't mean I don't go back to it. I just don't go back to it in the same way. And I guess I've been at this long enough now where um, stocks, they change, and
Mm-hmm.
it's I mean, even well, the extreme examples, you know, Piton and the momentum stock days, the COVID stuff, versus what it is to us now, and which is why it's funny to me when people bring up the ancient history of stocks like that. You know, if you'd put 10,000 in Piton, blah blah blah, you'd have $70, or that's all bullshit. But the the learning when to revisit. I mentioned earlier this week, like MDB pulling back, but it's still just right in the middle of this big, huge zone, and I'm just like, look, I see flow on it, but I really just kind of want to wait because that pivot below is pretty far down. So, I don't know that there's enough here, and so I'm getting a little better about that, and you know, looking at the context of a move and understanding. You just got to stay away. It's a big previous winner, but it's not for me right now.
I'm gonna reverse engineer that because I'm on MDB right now. But good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
um, I finally traded that, and man, was it perfect. Top and bottom. I mean, I
yeah,
didn't get the top, but I was really flipping close. And really, what helped that move, P, is you get that big jump, and you got so much room. You know, you take a little bit off the table there, and you can kind of ride out after there with a decent stop loss or idea
yeah.
where you're going to check down. And for me, there it was always the psych coming back, and never even came close. So great trade. Pete's on good example of I mean, my lines don't change. If you'd follow us at all, you know that. Good example of when properly to be interested. I mean, we're playing the proper range down here. Not 40, not
Yeah.
30, not 50, not 60, not 70, not 80, not 90. How high did that go? It was real high. Not 160. But we
Yeah,
wake
yeah,
down here. I mean, even my levels you could critique a little bit. 840, 13, 12. But you know what? We've had several successful trades on Piton. And we're kind of like, I guess, I use a sports analogy. We're kind of fish on down here. We're fighting this fish across the bottom now. You know, it doesn't have a direction if you look at it big picture. So, but
right.
yeah, I mean, that's how you look at things. In general, I do want to bring up one for me, especially since Carlos is here in the room. But um, I remember talking to Carlos at the beginning of the year about Tesla, about getting out of what I needed to get out of Tesla, and the last sales were at 350. Um, the first sales were definitely a little higher than that because of taxes going into the year, but
Yeah,
just felt overextended after that move. And yeah, pretty much the lost year worked out for me there. The only thing is I didn't rebuy back in. Greedy fucker.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't go quite low enough. I did because it was an option pivot that last low. Wasn't one of didn't get to our levels really. So
Yeah, I'm just
um
stubborn on the 200 on Tesla. I don't think it's super respectful of it because it's not necessarily investor stock. It's an old school, I'm the original short seller meme stock. So I
yeah.
really don't buy too much into it. But I mean, you can see the weekly here. I mean, it may hang out there, but it usually has large moves. And this time it just kind of held up there. So, and also it was early on the April. And then April happened, and I'll be honest, I got distracted. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I got plenty of Tesla in general, right? Like if you go back to the and not that I abide by it, but if you go back to like how the big funds operate, 1% is kind of the one, maybe 2%, five if you're like a what do you want to call it, a risky risk on investor. Um,
Yeah.
that's all the account can be, or all it should be. So, and no, I'm way worse than that. Trust me. But you don't want more than 15, 20% in one thing. So, um, especially on that side, the investing side, and on the other side,
Right.
full port, right? No.
Yeah, the joke, it's always like, I've become a community member where
Yeah.
you own so much of it that you got to follow it religiously,
I I
and you go live in your Tesla to buy more Tesla, and like those guys. Yeah,
To be honest, though, that's where the sizing comes from. I've never really talked about that much, but it was because I couldn't figure the dollar amount out, right? Like it was hard for me to say,
yeah,
all right, only put. I mean, I got the account size unlocked. We all know Unc trades 50K. That's my trading account. Try to clean it out at the end of the month or when it gets too big, um, and just kind of go with that. But it was hard for me to say, all right, 1,000, 5K, eight. Well, I want a little more of this, so it's 10K to get that actual dollar amount. So that's where like the 1,000 shares came in, and then when we started trading the bigger stuff, all right, we'll just knock a zero off of that and trade 100 shares. And I'm pretty good about it. I do go over on some of the better theses, especially if I'm on the third or fourth trade because
yeah,
I don't count what I kept. I guess that's how I do it in my head. But that dollar amount stuff's hard. Um, in general to allocate that. But I think it's important because if not, you end up, you know, I mean, just look at my son's situation. I mean, his account swing this last week is ridiculous. You're talking 15K to the not good side. If
yeah,
you don't move your hands, and he doesn't like to move his hands. So yeah, just that time of year
yeah.
though. I mean, that time of year, that's where the market's at. That's where my head's at. Um, sorry, go ahead.
Well, the concept of rebalancing always kind of fascinates me. The way they do that in the funds, and someone gets added, we have to buy this one, and we have to sell this one. Like all that stuff. And like for me personally, when you have the longer term swing account, and um, it's there were some times where there was some forced rebalancing for me just because something did so well
Yes.
that it's like this is the percentage is way out of whack now, and it was like MSTR coin. MSTR was easier to get rid of, um, just knowing that stock, and you've got the seat, sailor tweeting AI slop all day, like, yeah, I can get out of this one and it'll let me back in. But coin, I mean, the lesson from coin the first round, those you know $40 ads and all that. It was harder to figure out what I wanted to do there, and but it was just the percentage was too big. Eli Lilly, same thing. AVGO, same thing. And so it's a good problem to have, but definitely something I had to deal with
You,
this year.
so I'm on. Your perfect statement. Love it. I'm on the 2.0 a lot of that P. Like, and you've kind of dealt with it the whole time, but there's some stuff that I won big on that I fully checked out on that I've been trying to get back into, and I am in, but just hasn't really. I mean, it's done okay. Square.
Yeah.
What's up, Square? But it
Yeah,
hasn't
yeah,
it hasn't done what I mean. It hasn't made, like, when you initially started it, or I started it, the channel down here. Good example. Um, I was thinking, all right, we'll get halfback, we'll mid candle, and just kind of putting along. So there is a 2.0 to that. It doesn't never, like, you don't master that at all. And then in this process, I've learned, and this is, I guess, the learning experience. If you do fucking learn anything from me, is you do learn that, all right, well, if they're down here, there might be a new fish in town, and that's where you get the SoFis and the NUs, and even the affirms and the alleys I
yeah,
would put in that category. So you got to be mindful of that. Um, the Especially when you're in growth. I mean, because you got to understand, I was an EV guy from the start, right? Trading Nvidia and Tesla and yada yada yada. Even the Nvidia thesis was on self-driving trucks, um,
yeah.
which is going to be electric. But yeah, I digress on that. But so you have to, and I bumped my head in that sector quite a few times, learning, trying to hit the same well over and over again. And
The, uh, yeah, and I mean, the fintech stuff will make you wait, and it's fascinating in that the story there that I think everyone sees coming, but maybe doesn't really understand how it's going to play out is like the great wealth transfer from boomers and where that money's going to go as far as investments go. And
yeah,
they're not going to use their parents' brokerage account.
which,
They're gonna they're gonna be in Robinhood and stuff, like in Lemonade and stuff. So like that all of that is a big part of that story, and we're early there, and they're gonna have their range and move on, according to what they're doing, regardless. Um, but that is just down the road, and it's a big reason why I do like to stick around in a lot of those stocks. And Ally's a good example. I saw their commercials all day during football games, right?
yeah,
And
that's the ones. Yeah,
um, the way that they kind of frame what they do, and these are like young people establishing their lives. We're gonna take care of all this financial stuff for you and wealth planning and whatever. And so as people Gen X and millennials have to start thinking about that. I just think of the companies that they'll go to, and um, that's a huge thing. And I'm really big on just trying to read generations a bit, and it's been part of the beer and alcohol trade for me that those kind of making a comeback, and kids growing out of vapes and whatever, and tobacco coming back, like all that stuff, like is is part of what drives the story in those. And then I just try to use flow to sort of map it out and see
bro.
it.
This is where Professor and Unc show their difference. We have a college professor and we have a college dropout, for the lack of better terms. If I was your ass, I'd be going to the kid with the worst fucking grades and being like, "Bro, let me see what the apps in your phone. Tell me what
Yeah,
you're doing on Saturday, and I'll give you a C."
yeah,
And that would be my research. That would just be
yeah,
my research, because he would know. Because I use my son a little bit. Like, if you think Unc has not asked my son about root or lemonade or that kind of stuff, you're crazy. Like, that's the
yeah,
first thing I ask. Or always, yeah, because I mean that's gonna be the people with the money, no matter whether it's a crypto all American bald eagle, it's Ethereum, or we still trading the just the dollars, no pennies. Um, that's who's gonna spend the money, not us old people. So yeah, that's always where you want to take a look at if you're trying to see what's next, or what's going to be emerging.
So and on that, there's definitely some danger, especially short term danger to being late to the best stories. And data centers were and are, that's one of the better stories out there. And I posted, you have all this data center construction and power needs and all that stuff. And I posted that, like, most people are going to fumble this trade. And I just got a quick example of that, and then we can get to the boring stuff if you want. But this
Oh, sure.
this NBIS,
Hmm.
if you look at when I talked about this in the group, it was between $70 and $75, and that was back out here. Um, yeah, so that was it. It had that kind of initial pop or whatever, and so no, actually, let's see, when was it? Oh, sorry, it was about $88. I was thinking of a different one. Yeah, it was after that, and that big move like that, it regrouped, and I saw the flow, and it took off. All right. Anyway, when you had people into the last earnings who had averages well after that move 110, 120, 130, and they're thinking like, oh, this is the next big thing, and um blah blah blah, and they've just gotten destroyed on this thing ever since the earnings breakdown, and then it's fallen to 83, 88, and they're like, this is this generational opportunity, and then it did move back up, and everybody's spiking the football, and then the day after Nvidia earnings, poof, it just gets wiped out, right back to where it was. Now, as someone not in this thing, I'm more than happy to start reading it now. But I you didn't see me post in the flow on this, and I saw the weeklies and all that, but there just was no follow through. And with data centers, with rare earth, with all of that, like you have to wait to get back in until you see something substantial. And to me, till I see that boxing glove, I don't like these, and I especially given that there's so many people like into and aware of this story that I'm gonna find a different angle to this story. It's gonna be electricity, Powell, or utilities or something, and this notion that because this stock has a relationship with Nvidia that you're entitled to a move back to 120, 130. That's just it's just not how it works. So I don't know. A quick read from you just on sort of a setup like this, given the way that we trade and given its sector, the data center thing. And just what's your take on it?
Well, I don't care if you got the best boat and the best fishing pole. If it ain't the right time to fish, it really don't matter. Just
Yeah,
because someone caught a fish there before or yesterday, when conditions were a little different, and I mean that's how I'm looking at everything currently. Um,
yeah,
I went from I think I gave the rate cuts, government shutdown, a couple other things. I was like, I just don't know what's going to control the market to scream in one word, and that was rotate. And I think in general, that's just the conditions we're in aren't for um, aren't for anything but a reason to stay there. Like you just had this big move. This thing, I mean, God, it's over 50% after the bigger move, right? Like after the 60 move. So it's really like 130%. It was up 118%. God damn it! Didn't we just talk about this?
yeah, yeah,
um, I mean, seriously, I'm not even playing. That's just where we are. So it doesn't matter how good of a fishing pole you think you fucking have. It just
yeah,
doesn't. The conditions are going to dictate the overall picture. Um, and I just think that's where we are. They're looking, the people out there that are in control, the whale, so to speak. I don't care what you guys call them, but put a name on it. They aren't looking for stuff that's up 118%. They're not.
right,
They're looking for
yeah,
charts that should not be where they are, and not that way. Maybe that chart probably shouldn't be up there, but not in that way. They mean it a
yeah,
different way, and that's just where we are. And um, one chart I want to bring up, not for a conversation or anything, but just because of like it's the only one, and it just shows the sector perfectly. Just the solar, and it's FSLR. What was our target? Where is it at?
yeah,
I mean, if you're looking to buy something up there in the hole, if you want to buy something that's moved this year crazy, it's gonna look like that. and
Right.
that just that's how that is. And again, the ocean is more important than the vessel. And you can have the best ship, but the conditions are what they are right now. And I, again, back to the original statement, don't know. It, is it the conspiracy bullshit? Is the Epstein files going to get everybody arrested, and that's why they're talking about treason and sedation in the military and crap right now? Or is it just we ain't going to get our rate cuts and we're pouting? Or is it because
Yeah.
natural, is it something with Russia or natural gas? Right? I mean, I don't know. But I know we've ran, if you just zoom the out, we've ran a lot. You should have expected profit. I was screaming about 660. I wouldn't change till we talk about the SPY numbers we're going to talk about, which is probably close to the 50. Yeah, it's just where we are. I mean, so I don't think. I mean, it's like looking at something that's not the problem. You know what I mean? That is causing you the problem. And it's not,
Yeah.
so it's not the chart, Pete. It's not the chart. It's not the company. It's not the thesis. It's just it's 118%.
Right. Exactly. And so they'll say like oh, they had it, and I see this all the time with, I follow earnings closely, and the way people react to it, though, they beat earnings. Like, why is it down? They're looking at the wrong thing. Like, why, all the damn short sellers um and all that, and I mean, they're really, it isn't this nefarious hedgy short sellers or whatever. A lot of the way that those stocks unwind, they're the people that did very well on it, way the hell earlier than this guy tweeting about it, and that's just they're unwinding through, a lot of times through
Yep.
derivatives, and
Yep.
and it's what people don't understand about flow, and in particular I mean, I think like people are really bad at reading the bid side. Like, they're really bad at noticing it, and then kind of what it means. You'll see me talk about it where I see the bid side kind of defining a range, that they've got sold calls up here, and here's the ask side. Here's what they're doing this month. Here's what they're doing in March, and it's like I think it's going to pop into this zone up here, and in that, when I say that, what it's going to look like on the chart is usually it's a wick, and the people who buy that wick, whether it's like a daily or 4 hour, or whatever, especially like a weekly, those are the people that get screwed and bagged and become conspiracy theorists and all that. But you sell into it, sell into the fat green candle. That's what we talk about. And the thing when I move around different time frames, and that what looks like a fat green candle on the lower time frame turns into a wick on the bigger one, right? I mean, so that's what you have to be careful of, and that's why you try to sell into moves like that. And yeah, I mean, they're going to come back, they're going to break down stuff up 240% year to date, is gonna pull back. I got out of Oracle on that move. It
Oh
round
yeah.
tripped a bit. It's still, when you look at that chart of AI shit, Oracle's just as important as it was before that move. They're still just cranking away, doing their thing, and you know could retrace all that move, but that doesn't mean that the market's gonna maintain those moves and go up only forever. And I don't know psychologically why people seem to think they'll do that. It's bizarre to me. I don't know. It's greed. Greed drives it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna save those two notes for our session. So let's get into some boring stuff.
Yeah. All right. All right. So I always start with copper.
Kappa. Kappa. See, you got the wrong guy. See.
Yeah.
Nah. See.
Yeah, it's in a good spot. I mean, it's kind of nice and calm, kind of waiting for what's next, hanging out at $5. I would say, 480 to 510, 520 is kind of your range here. But I would expect it's going to break out to the upside. I think the winter could be kind of quiet, but yeah, I mean, especially I sort of think that you look ahead to midterms and Republicans. There's a long way to go, but they're kind of in a little bit of trouble. They threw a pick six and then had a three and out, and uh, they got to kind of get their mojo back, clear out of a lot of the stories that aren't doing anything for them, and the builder and all that kind of narrative
Hmm.
post tariff. And I don't mean post tariff like they're over, but where we just fully get clarity, courts make their rulings, whatever, and it's like, all right, we're gonna build shit, and like that to me is what's gonna move copper, and uh, so your copper charts, your aluminum charts, pay attention to those, get a piece of that move.
Like it. No, I like that.
Uh,
Steel, copper, all that good stuff.
yep. And then silver and gold. Um, yeah, just kind of pretty big swings within this range. It's just a bigger box than is conventionally you'll see with silver in particular, but there's still a lot of stability in the setup. I don't see this just fully breaking down or them clearing out or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be pretty stable prices in silver in general, so I mean, it consolidating somewhere is not a big problem. I'm still
Yeah.
looking for more pullback in the charts. If the conditions were good, they'd have enough, but just more currently, and I think we'll be talking about them. I don't know if it's like the last week of December again or like the third week of January, but
Yeah.
they're gonna have that reset and go because the numbers still don't line up with the, the price. Just the price they're gonna sell stuff at and the price they pull it out of the ground. That's a big win for them.
Yeah, definitely. Oil still pouting, still the thing nobody wants, whatever. But a lot of those charts and setups are pretty good, and especially anything involves moving it around, tankers, pipelines, um, all the midstream, all the midstream stuff, the drilling and offshore, and West African contracts, and so all that stuff sort of back on my radar. A lot of that is April, September, so basically spring through the summer. Those are those are the setups. So uh, be patient. You're not going to be buying any oil weeklies, but there's going to be quite a few good ones here.
Yeah, oil usually gets to a price that I think is too low, and then I just start watching like the output numbers, like the actual volume, barrels produced and sold and stuff like that. I watch that a little more because I think that's what actually moves it in the long run. But we're not there yet. We're still kind of, I mean, we're low, but nothing crazy. We're where we should be if we want food prices down. That was the original
Yeah,
thing when we started this. But in the Trump world, we haven't talked about that in a while. Still a thing though. But in the Trump world, you start off Monday with some kind of like idea and story, and by fucking Friday, you're like 35 different ideas down the road and on a totally different problem, and that's just the constant Trump cycle. Like nothing lasts a week with Trump. It's a brand new thing every day, and I haven't lost that with the oil, so hopefully it does, and I like the midterm lineup with that. Hopefully it does line up with hey, prices of oil down, everything else is down. We're going to start building and get it going. So I'm not scared down here at all.
yeah, no, it's absolutely. And uh, natural gas. Now this is the one that's kind of primed to start surging to me, and still just you know 5 to 7, 5 to 7, and I think with energy in general that any like news from the Middle East or news from OPEC, that is not what's going to give a sustained move up to those. That is just noise, and those are the times when people they pile into oil stocks, like But if you're getting into Oxy or Exxon when they're up 3% overnight, and that's when you buy it, you haven't been in our room very long, or you don't pay attention because that's not how it works. OPEC's a cartel, and you're not going to get a sustained geopolitical sector upswing from the decisions of the cartel. It's going to be other other factors that actually really get things moving. So they disrupt things. That's all about control for them and all that. But it yeah it ultimately is what uh, US decides to do, and what the amount these companies want to put into you know getting stuff out of the ground and moving it around, and all that, and all those. I mean, obviously we got our main name for this, but some of them have contracts lined up for years from now, and um, those aren't going away. That money coming in, the machines turning on, and all that stuff. So it those stocks can be stagnant. It takes a lot of money to just keep all that stuff ready before they start using it. But once they get it going, it starts flowing for literally, and those stocks will get your 40-60% moves in some of those smalls. So
said
that's why we hang.
he said stagnant in a position you're probably up 50 to 100% in. I love it.
Yeah, no, right. I mean, yeah, but it's why you're still. That's
Sorry.
why I just. That's why I'm not. That's why I'm not on to the next. Uh, yeah.
Or you should be.
There's.
You should be.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Right.
uh,
Hey, I don't spend. I get a piece of the work is big for me, and I don't spend all this time in this sector for fun.
I don't
I'm gonna
know
get.
anyone else that told you just wait till 2026. Like literally gave you a year in like
Yeah.
23, 24
Right.
on a thesis that's just well we're only up 100%, but
Yeah.
but yeah I don't know. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good.
Yep. All right. So the 10 year,
Sure.
getting a little feisty. Um, this you gotta be mindful. We're very much in pop and fade conditions, so um, keep. I guess the way you see it, the way I see it is different, but it's the same thing. That when you start talking about volume and relief, we're basically speaking
Sure.
the same language. That this is going to pull back, and then the degree of the pullback varies, but it can get nasty. I mean, the Nvidia going whatever up 5% to red on the day. Um, if they're doing that, what do you think NBIS and all that shit's doing? Their swings will be 15%, and this is where you get if you bought 100 of this dollar put, you'd be a millionaire. No, but no one's gonna do that. I mean, that's stupid. But yeah, you just gotta be careful. Don't spike the football early. Don't chase. Um, all that.
I always have the CNBC on blaring background just so in case something pops up, urgent breaking, and says something. But they only put this on the screen right now currently when it's like 413, 412. They pop it up on the screen, talk about it. So
Yeah.
for the couple weeks before that, it was every time it breaks four, they put it on the screen. So this is where we are. I mean, I watch it
Yeah,
as
and it wakes the algos up. I mean, that's kind of the main thing too. That it's all not to be a conspiracy theorist, but it is literally all programmed.
yeah. Well,
That
shake that shit a little harder because they were not awake last week, fuckers.
uh, right? No, I know, right? Or well, I guess the better term might be uh, it keeps them from switching on, I guess. But the point is that like it's a trigger, and it definitely triggers things in options when the 10 years behaving in this way, and the other ones too. But the 10 years the cleanest read
Sure.
for what I could see for having 10 of them up at once. But I'd rather just focus on one.
One. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
all right, and then Bitcoin. Oh well, dollar real quick. Uh, yeah, this you need this to pull back a bit for us to get any kind of follow through, and it is not the week for that to happen. I don't think.
Yeah.
So
With it.
be careful. I said weeks ago, winding down for the year. People are going to misread that. What's going on, and but you just gotta you gotta be careful. No hero ball, but
There's usually one good day to trade, and it's usually Monday or Tuesday.
yes, yeah,
It can be Wednesday, but it's usually Monday or Tuesday, and it's not worth the. It's 50-50. That's not the ratio I like. If I'm trading a week, I want 3 good
well,
days.
I do trade some downside, as you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I will say that even the the red days, the trend down days, which are kind of rare, but usually you get a little recovery midday or whatever. But that's not when I trade, so it's not that relevant to me. But anyway, even when I see the downside coming, it's not necessarily good to trade because it's all about the option premiums. Puts get too expensive, and there's just um, there's just too much risk there. And that my monkhead barometer dude, that he has like no followers, but he so perfectly embodies the mentality that I do keep track of what he's doing. But you have like a $300 contract. It's a lot easier for that premium to go to 180 than it is for it to go to 480. Just because of the way options are structured. So even the percentage move it takes to go for that to lose value is a lot lower than what it takes for it to gain value.
Oh yeah.
So so you get yourself into trouble even when you see the pullback
You
coming.
you know
That
how many options? Like I'll go look occasionally, right? Because I like the
yeah,
chart, just to say, hey, this is a tradable chart. And two things I notice a lot is there is like maybe 100 contracts traded, whatever these motherfuckers are talking about. That's the like number one thing I notice. So volume for
yeah,
me, like I'm not gonna play that game. But if you zoom out, like for the life of the contract or the week of the contract, it was like 11.50 or 9.75 at one point in time, and it went to
yeah,
like 37 fucking cents, and it went back to $1, and they just claim that as their somehow win on 100 contracts traded total. So I mean, if that works
yeah.
for you, fine. But I've done this long enough. Um, you need some shares traded. You're especially the smaller you are. Um,
Oh, right. And they what's funny to me is that they're all about the storytelling or whatever, but when I start seeing them trading $30 contracts, I'm like, he's buying that because he's got $30, or he's buying, he's got $150, and but he wants multiple contracts, so he's got to get that. Now, whether that 150 is his last 150 till the next paycheck, or if it's the amount of settled funds he has left because he piled in 90% of the account at open. Either way, you can see, you're around this long enough, you can see what's going on there. So I do encourage people. I posted before. Now that I have some time off, I'll probably reset the curriculum a bit, but you need a little knowledge of the Greeks, and I talk about favorable Greeks, and I think anyone buying options needs to know some of what I'm talking about. I break that down and simplify it a lot compared to everything that goes into it, but yeah, you need to know that uh, it is a system set up in such a way that when you are buying the option, you are immediately at a disadvantage. It's like buying a new car, driving it off the lot, and it loses value. Like, um, you have to know that going into it, and use that to your advantage. But that doesn't also mean, a lot of people do this, like that selling options Oh, that's the thing to do. Um, not not exactly either. What are you selling, and are you, do you already have the shares? Like that's a big question, and whatever. So yeah, a lot of people there are a disaster. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Point is, the dollar over 100. Be mindful. Unfavorable Greeks are the thing when it's up here.
And if it does 2 second, if you're like me and you're just listening to that beautifully said by the professor, you come to the point where you just say, "Yep, I don't trade options."
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And that's
Um,
okay. It's okay. If
it
you're if
is,
you're
yeah,
if you're out
absolutely.
there and you're 25, kind of like my son, and you're doing okay, and you want to get ahead because it's not enough because you're just that kind of personality. You're gonna be fine on shares. I promise. If you master shares, you'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
If you're 40 and you're fucking trying to buy an extra fishing boat, all right, you might need some options, but
Yeah, yeah, and I think and one key too is you're you care a lot about what's going on in options because you use the options to read the shares, and that's what our whole system is. And it's a combination
well, yeah, knowledge is power. That's how
of
that
two,
works.
yeah, right,
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've used other things. If it didn't work, I wouldn't use it. I mean, it's RTL, respect the lines. Well, RTO, respect the options is a thing too, in most cases. So it's just as
Yeah,
valuable as the SMAs. I mean, that's why I use them. They're just respected. So yeah,
yep.
SMAs are just algos. I think we've covered that. So, but yeah, Bitcoin.
All right, so yeah, it made its it made its decision, right?
Yeah, good call when I asked you. I think I forgot the exact number. I think you said 88 to 7, or I forget the number. You gave me a good channel, but we're in it. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was good though.
it was like 78-86, I think was
Yeah, it
what I
was right
said.
there. So, and we
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much lived there. Every time I checked it, we were like, "Oh, we're still in that spot." Professor was talking about on the pullback. But yeah, there's a lot going on that side. I again, I don't follow it like religiously, but you get a lot of the stories and stuff, and the headlines. I'm a headline reader there, so I'm a I'm a protester on Bitcoin. Sorry. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I, we're gonna liquidate Sailor. That's what I'm hearing in the
Right, right.
streets right now.
Yeah.
And we're just chanting that shit away. So yeah, a lot of that going on. So
Yeah, and the a couple bigger things. We didn't reach my top end number, and obviously broke down to yours, and now below. But there are a couple bigger things I did say about Bitcoin. That gold was going to have a better year than Bitcoin, dramatically so, right? I mean,
sure.
it's so that happened. But the other was that there's not going to be an alt season. That was like way before Trump even got elected. I just didn't see that. And then throughout all of this, those those coins did not do much. I mean, you just call up any of them, and I'll just get a random one. Um, yeah, so like Raven coin, just some bullshit altcoin that did had this great move. It went back in the ancient history and whatever, but yeah, just died out, and just even through all of this, never sustained anything to the upside.
Where's Doge at? I remember that one being like kind of pretty mainstream. Wasn't it 70 cents? Yeah, yeah, died and never
Yeah,
made it back, huh?
yeah, yeah, and it's just round tripped, and there's people that have round tripped this thing, 2 or 3 times by now, and just not where you want to be. And yeah, so Bitcoin, that's some pretty heavy selling. I mean, we haven't seen that kind of sustained move down in quite a long time, with really no bounces to speak of. You get some weekend relief like this, and the big joke is Americans wake up on Monday and sell it all again. Um, yeah, very well could happen, but I it's so bad that I start to look at the Maras of the world,
Oh, he
and
said it.
just the stuff that's really in the ditch that nobody wants and is just total crap. And then it's like, okay, now I like it, and then we'll do very well in it. So, um, got some time. I don't think you're not going to retrace this move back up in 2 days.
I've been throwing jabs there. Um, in general, a chart here, a chart
Yeah,
there, just in general. The first thing I was just gonna say one thing about this and move on, but um, that one thing wasn't gonna be. Here's another lost year chart. I guess we're right
yeah,
back where we started the year at.
right.
So I mean, it just know the market you're in, I guess, so to speak. And if you don't, for me, if you don't look at that by anything other than Trump's here, yeah, he ain't gonna do shit in chart form. That's kind of how I see it on a lot of things, and um, yeah, Bitcoin. I mean, I'm with you. You said some names. There's probably some more names,
Yeah.
I'll double down, triple down on the. We probably got some time, um, and we're gonna have to separate, which we talked about, the SOSs and E bonds. We're gonna have to separate those again,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
and
it's just the
and
fresh
stay
round
on.
of
Yeah,
winners and losers, and not even. I mean, to win is to keep the lights on.
yeah,
You know.
and there'll
And
be,
so,
and I've already seen a few P, and I'll do a better job now that we have had this good pullback of getting those on your plate of ones that we don't talk about, that aren't really in our rotational list, that probably will be tradable, because there's a few out there that we don't cover. Um,
yeah, yeah.
that
The
that
well,
that I
right,
think.
and I think you had a good point too, where you got this whole all these mining rigs set up. Uh, what else can we use this shit for during lean times? And a lot of the companies they set themselves up for that pretty well already, and it's like you repurpose the missile silo for something else.
Yeah,
And so those companies over the pure miners, that will still be the thing. And then crypto like services that we talked about, like that too. And then
and
stuff's
then
gonna
the
IPO in the crypto slash prediction market stocks, and it's gonna add a whole some fresh complications. And complications are a very good thing for what we do. You want a sector to get chaotic, and then you know you read it, and then we're early, and then people figure it out later because it's complicated, and then we sell, they're buying. I'm not pumping anything like to anybody. I just like saw it first, and it's like, okay, now you like it. Well, I'm kind of on my way out, but here you go. Here's some shares, and then that's how and then it repeats again. So that's going to be the same thing. We're going to read the crypto cycle again. It's going to look different this time, but we'll figure it out.
love it.
All right, spy real quick, and then we'll get going.
All right, real quick, like 660. All right, I'm done. That quick.
Yeah, I just want to see what's going on in
That's
my
all I got
world.
for you.
Yeah, okay. I can't. I need some dead OI to fall off. That's all it is. So 11, all the 1121 shit's gonna go.
If I was a they, P, I would pull back this week if I could do it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well, yeah.
mean?
You know, people leaving early for the holiday.
Yeah.
Um,
How you feel?
yeah. Put the put the intern at the controls and
Yeah.
go nuts, kid. Let's see what we can do. So yeah, no, I'm with you.
I
The
got 50 last week. It's just Spy has a lot of range. Let's talk about that. What just has Spy has a lot of range. I mean, 20
yes.
$25 range last week. This week, it's close to that the week before. Yeah, yeah, $25 range on Spy candles right now. Granted, it's pushing down, but volatile, low
Yep.
volume volatility.
Yeah, and I mean, especially the total percentage of the moves get really big, and then don't look as big because of where it's coming from. That's where like the pop and fade thing happens. So like you're just your average worker in their cubicle with their 401k, like it doesn't look that violent, but the stuff that happened while they were doing their PowerPoints, like, is pretty
Oh,
extreme.
nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, real quick on SQQQ. Um, this had a reverse split like it does. That's just all, that's normal for it to do that. But so it's, so it's $80 now. And um, it gets easier to read after it does this. I'll just say that. I don't have anything huge to say about it. You do have leaps popping up at 90C for 2028. They were waiting for this to do this, but so anyway, if you see me reading it more, it's not because all of a sudden the oxen are turning around. I'm going bearish. It's just because they did the reverse split, and it's like, okay, now the flow is a little easier to see. So you could see like there's no open interest. It's all fresh. So I like it when it does this because I can read it. So
Was
expect
it
to see it.
was it 2 to 1?
Um, 10.
Was it 10? Jesus.
Yeah.
I missed that. Interesting.
Oh, 5. I'm sorry.
5. Yeah, there it is.
But yeah.
I missed all those. Huh, I didn't even see that come across. Oops. Pay attention. All right. Yeah. So this week, don't put. Let's just say. Last thing I'm gonna say is just don't put too much into this week.
Yeah. Yeah. If you trade on Black Friday,
Detention.
you get detention the next week, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's been going
Watch
on.
him.
Been going on since first class.
Yeah. All right.
All right. You ready to work, P?
Yeah. Quick break for me, and then good to go.
Awesome. Like and subscribe. Link somewhere, people.